Assalamu alaikum. In this video, I'm going to explain how to test a spreadsheet using the Ultimate League example. Now, when we talk about the process of testing, we mean that we want to make sure that after we create our spreadsheet, everything is working well by trying different pieces of data. So if we have formulas, for example, we can try these formulas to see if they are working well, and if they give us the result that we expect we will receive from each one of them. Now, when I want to test my spreadsheet, there are two different steps that I have to follow. The first thing is I have to identify what I'm going to test in my spreadsheet. I can have many different formulas in the spreadsheet to do calculation, and I can have some kind of data or some types of data in my spreadsheet. Now, in most cases, I'll be working on testing my formulas, so I need to determine what I want to test from the formulas that I have on the spreadsheet. If I have a sample spreadsheet and I just have few formulas, I better just try to test all of them. Now, the second step is I have to identify how I'm going to test my formulas or my spreadsheet. So I need to find ways to do the testing. Now, if I want to test, I have formulas and I want to do some testing on them. Now, I can either work out the result by maybe doing the calculation myself or using a calculator, and then I check if the result that I have received or the one that was expected matches the one that I have on the spreadsheet. And the other one is by changing some values and see what will happen in the formulas if we change the values. If we get the expected result, what that means the formula works well and there is no problem with it. Otherwise, there might be something wrong with the formula and we have to redo the work in this case. Now you have to know that we need to create at least two different tables in this case, because one of them will have the main values and the main data that we have in the spreadsheet, and the other one will be the expected values. So if I want to make some changes to just see if the formulas will give the expected result anyways and to see how if it works well, I have to have another one. So one will be for the main testing and the other one will be just to try different types of values. And the other thing that we have to note is that you sometimes might have to create a third table to test our formulas or our data, or maybe sometimes we can create another one so we can have a third table, a fourth table, a fifth table, depending on the problems that we might face when we are doing the testing on our spreadsheet. So whenever you have something wrong, you have to fix it and then you create a table to fix or to try to test what you have just fixed. Now, to understand how we work with testing, we are going to work on the following example. We have some activities that we will be working on the Ultimate League example. We need to create a test table, and then we need to tie the cell reference to each formula that we have. So we will be having a table in column 1 and 2. We will add the labels maybe, or we will refer to the formulas that we will be testing, as well as having the cell reference. We have to put the cell reference that has the formula that we are testing. After that, we will type the values of the spreadsheets that will be used with the formulas to do the calculation in the third column, and then we'll have column 4 where we will calculate and type the expected result. So in column 4 we must be doing some kind of calculation using a calculator, or maybe we can work it out ourselves. And after that we have to create column 5 to check the values on the spreadsheet. So I compare, after I just take the expected result, I go and check if I'll be having the same result that I have on the spreadsheet. In the last activity here, we will be creating a second table. In the second table, we'll do the same, we'll do testing, but this time we will make some changes to the values that the formula uses in order to see if we will get the expected result as well, so that the formula will work well in this case. Otherwise, there might be something wrong and we need to fix it. Now, in order to understand what we are testing, this is the spreadsheet example that we are going to work on, which is the Ultimate League example. We have some data that are labeled here. In column B, I have the data and I have the labels in column A. So I have the first price cost here, which is $1,000. I have the second price cost, which is $500. Third price cost, which is $200. I have the number of entries, which is 280. And I have the entry cost, which is $10. For the formulas, I have three different formulas. The first one is the total price cost, which is the total of the cost that I have for the prizes. It is B1 plus B2 plus B3. And then I have the total income, which means the total amount of money that will be received. So we have equals, and then we have B4, which is the number of entries, and then the asterisk, which means multiplication. We'll multiply it by the entry costs. So I have the number of entries times the entry costs to get the total income. Now, to know the amount of money that we will make or we will earn after that, we have to subtract the total cost of the prizes from the total income. So I have B8, which is the total income, minus B7. Now, let's start working on testing our spreadsheet. To do that, we can easily create a document and insert a table here. From the activities that we have here, we can notice that we have about 5 columns. And we have 3 different formulas that we need to test. So let's create the table first. We go to Insert, and then we add the table. We need 5 different columns, and I need one for the headings, for the rows, and then I have 1, 2, 3. So it's 5 times 4. Here is the table that we need. Now we need to label each one of the columns that we have in the test table. Now the first column will be the formulas that we are going to test, as it says in the activity first. So the label is going to be formula being tested. Now in the second column, we need to put the cell reference of the cells that will have the formulas that we are going to test. So I have to give it a heading. We'll say cell being tested, which is the cell that will have or that will contain the formula. After that, in the next activity, we have to type the values that will appear on the spreadsheets. That means we'll put the values that will be used in the calculation for each one of the formulas. So to give it a heading, we can say data input. That means the data that we will input into the formula in order to do the calculation. Now in the next column, if you check the activities, it says that we need to do the calculation to see the expected result. So this is column 4. So we can name it expected result. And finally, we need to have a column to check on our spreadsheets to see if it works as expected or if we receive the expected result. So we can put a question here, did it work? Now we need to enter all the formulas here or labels of the formulas to refer to them. Now in some examples, people might just enter number to number all the formulas here. So they put 1, 2, 3, which doesn't make sense. So you better put the label of the formula to know which one you are testing. Let's take the label of the first one first. Here we have the total price cost. We can just copy the label from here and we paste it. So the total price cost, and then we take the second one, which is the total income. We paste it, and then we take the last one, which is money made, and we paste it. We can also copy them all together and then we paste them here to save time. Now in the second column, cell being tested. Now it depends on where you have put your formula. You don't have to take the one that has the label now. You have to focus on the cell that has the formula, which is, for example, we have for the total price cost, we have B7, the column name with the row name to make the cell reference. So we go now and type that. Here we have B7. For the total income, the formula is on B8. So we put B8, and for the next one, the formula is on B9. Now let's try to fill the next one, which is the data input. Now for the data input, we have to check the formulas one by one. We put the cell reference of all the data that we have in the formula, as well as the values that will be calculated. So for the first formula, we have equals B1 plus B2 plus B3. I can go now, and then I type B1 equals, B2 equals, and B3 equals. Next to each one of them, I will put the value that I have on these cells. So on B1 I have 1000, B2 is 500, and B3 is 200. We'll go here and we put them. So I have 1000, I have 500, and I have 200. Now let's do the same for the next one. For the total income, if we go click on the cell that has the formula, we can look at the formula bar now. We have equals B4 times B5. So I have B4, and then we have B5. Now I need to put the values of B4 and B5. On B4, I have 280, and B5 is 10. So I go now, and then I type 280, and B5 is 10. Now we'll do the same for the last one, which is the total income equals B8 minus B7. So let's leave this for now if you would like to leave it, or if you want to just use the values that you have on the spreadsheet, you can take them even if they are like results of formulas. We'll take B8, which is 2800, and B7, which is 1700. So B8 equals 2800, and B7 equals 1700. Now we are done with this column. Let's go to the next one. In the next column, we need to use a calculator, or we can work out the result ourselves. We need to follow the same formula and do the calculation. So for the first one, the total price cost, it's actually B1 plus B2 plus B3. So I need to do that with the calculator using the values that I have in data input column. So I have 1000 plus 500 plus 200. Now the result is 1700, so I have to type it here. Now I'll do the same for the next. In the next one, if you want to remember the formula, just go and check the formula, click on it. It says B4 times B5. That means I need to multiply these two values. So I have 280 times 10, which is 2800. So 2800. Now for the next one, I have the following formula that says equals B8 minus B7. So I go now, and then I take the values. I have B8, which is 2800, minus B7, which is 1700, and it's 1100. I put the result here. Now in the last column, what I have to do, I have to look at the expected results and then I check if I have the exact result in my spreadsheet. Let's take them one by one. On B7, I must have 1,700. If it's the same, I will type yes. Otherwise, I have to type no, and then I try to fix the problem that I have. So 1,700 on B7, which is, if you look at the result here, it's $1,700. So the answer here, did it work? Yes, it worked. We'll do the same for the next one. On B8, the result of calculating the formula here must be 2,800. So I go and check now on B8. B8, if you look at the cell, you click, you find the formula in the formula bar, and if you look here on the cell, you will find the result of the calculation. It's 2,800, which means the answer is correct. So I say yes as well. And I do the same for the next one, which is B9. It says 1,100. So what is the result here? It's 1,100. So I go now, it's yes, the answer is correct. Now I'm done with the first table. I need to create the second table and change some values as it says in the last activity. So we'll go create this table, or to save time, we can copy the table by selecting it. You click on the button here and then you choose Ctrl C. You go where you want to paste it, put the cursor, and then Ctrl V to have it. All we have to do is to change some values by expectation. So for example, instead of 1,000, we'll make 1,500. Instead of 280, we'll make it 300. And instead of these, I think if we just try to calculate these two, we might have some changes here. So we'll do these first, and then we'll do the changes here. Let's delete the answers here. So we'll do the same for this column. I'll be deleting the values, and for these two, I'll be erasing the values for now until I finish doing the first two formulas. Now we'll take the calculator and we'll try to do the calculation again. In the first formula, we had to add up all these values, B1 plus B2 plus B3. So I have 1,500 plus 500 plus 200. The result is 2,200. So I go and type it here. Now in the next one, I have 310 and I have to multiply them. If you want to check, you just go back to the formula and you look at the formula bar to see and remember. So I will multiply them. I have 300 times 10, which is 3,000. Now I have these two expected results that I will be using here. Now let's just check to remember which one is which. I have in this formula, it says I have B8 minus B7, which means total income minus total price cost. So I do the same here. The total income is 3,000, which is the biggest number. And then I have the smaller one, which is 2,200, the total price costs. Now I need to do the calculation as well. So I will subtract the values, 3,000 minus 2,200, and the result is supposed to be 800. Now I'm done doing that here. I need to go to my spreadsheet and try to do these changes to see if I will get the same as the expectation. So let's try to change the first one. We said that we will make it 1,500. It's just like the process of modeling. You change values and see what will happen. Now we press enter. Look at the result of the first formula. It's 2,200. Let's check here. It is 2,200, which means this one worked as expected. Now, we'll try the other one. We'll do the change that we need on B4. We make it 300. So now we go on B4. We make it 300 and we keep our eyes on be 8 because here we have the formula that we are testing. Now the result has become 3,000. If we check again the expected result, it is 3,000, so it's yes, it worked. And now if you just go check the last one, which is the last formula, the result is 800, and it matches the expected result here, which means yes, this formula worked as expected. Now that was the work that we had to do, but you have to know that it's okay if sometimes you might have no on this column. So if by mistake there is something wrong in my formulas and they are not giving the expected result, I will say no, and then I'll try to fix my problem, and then I create a third table for the formula that has the problem only after I solve it, to just make sure that it worked as expected. When it's yes, that means it's done and I'm done doing the testing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.